That is how I start this episode. I wish I could shout because I have exhausted my voice. I've exhausted every bit of energy I've had, and all I can do is just smile. What a season we've had. Erik Ten Hag describes it as a bad season, but we are still in the final, and we got into the final of the FA Cup. Now, in the build-up to the FA Cup final, there were rumors of Erik Ten Hag's job being on the line, or Erik Ten Hag being sacked right after the FA Cup, whether United wins or not. And it took over everything in the build-up of the FA Cup final. And we went into the final. We gave our best. We played one of the best footballs we've played this season, in and out of possession. We are here. We are just cooling down on the euphoria. I mean, you've celebrated enough. We want to break down the game. We want to analyze how things happened. A little bit more about the future of Erik Ten Hag. And and I want to say a big thank you to the Ghana Manchester United Supporters Club in Ghana. We collaborated with them, and we were at Honeysuckle. You can check our previous videos where we recorded a fan reaction. It was a fun viewing that we had together. But the person whose reaction you've not seen is the man Kwame Nchubu. He's acting all like but you should see him. He was really ecstatic. Kwame.
Take me home, United Road, to the place where I belong, to see United. Take me home, United Road. United.
Well, you had to see it.
My brother.
How
was yesterday? How was yesterday? Viva gets there.
I can't explain. I got home very late, very exhausted. I thank God I have the voice today to record the podcast, because the amount of shouting we had to do at Honeysuckle yesterday was just amazing. We had a blast. We had an awesome time. The way we started the game, unbelievable. How are you doing?
Today I'll speak German with you. Ich muss sagen, Manchester United ist die beste Fußballmannschaft der Welt. Alle anderen Fußballteams sind scheiße. Scheiße, ganz scheiße. Hast du gehört? Manchester United is the best football team in the whole world. There is no better team. There is no better feeling than what this team actually gives you. Yesterday was incredible. Yesterday was out of this world. The roller coaster of emotions, from how we took the game to City, how we controlled that first half, matched them boot for boot, to how we were able to remain compact and disciplined in that second half to see that game out. The last time I felt like this, watching Manchester United play against Manchester City, was pre-lockdown, pre-COVID. I think when we won 2-0 at Old Trafford.
Yes.
McTominay scored a very last minute goal from the center circle.
Yes. And
that was the last time
Anthony Martial scored the first goal, if you remember.
In the first half. Yes. Since then, City have had our number. I know we did beat them last season, fortuitously. Through Marcus, was it Bruno Fernandes?
Yes, equalizer.
Goal, and then Marcus Rashford. Yes, a lot of controversy around that. We lost the cup final against them, and then we're back at Wembley against the same team off the back of terrible form. Our season has been horrible. Terrible form. But some way, somehow, we gathered the cojones to take the game to City and take the game from them. We took their souls. We reminded them of who we are. the greatest football team in the world. And we won that FA Cup deservedly.
All right.
But before then, I'm sure we'll want to go all the way back.
Yeah. You know what? Let me do a quick
how it all
turnaround.
started.
Let me do a quick turnaround. Let me show you some of the celebration. Today we've just mixed it up. We are showing you some of the celebration of some of the players and the technical team. I mean the owners were there. The Glazer, someone representing the Glazer family, and then someone representing INEOS. They were all present, and Sir Alex Ferguson was also present. I mean, it was an amazing time. En route to the final, a lot of talk about the manager, his future, and how I felt it sought to distract the whole plan of the team and everything. But some way, somehow, we found a way to, block all the noise. And it was a spirited performance, you could see. But let me make a quick turnaround. Watch all these videos. When we come back, we begin action here on United Everything Football. Please like the videos, subscribe to this channel, leave your comments. Thank you very much. We'll be back. So thank you very much. Welcome back. Whoa, I really love those videos. I mean, it's amazing. Charlie, you should win trophies. Win trophy. Football is all about winning, the success.
You should win trophies. It's very, very important.
Win trophies. It's not about we played well, we were second, we had a better season. Please win trophies.
It's not about finishing second 2 years in a row. 5 years in a row, winning nothing, all those kind of things.
They know themselves.
I finished 6th and above you. I finished 6th and above you in the Conference League spot and all that.
They know themselves.
No.
Win trophies. Win trophies. The most important thing. I mean, the excitement and everything we felt over. But Kwame, let's start here. The build up to the game. There was a huge news that came out from one journalist. It's one journalist from The Guardian who came out to boldly declare. In fact, the day before, a very well-known journalist known as DiMarzio, I don't know whether his credibility has suffered a hit, but he came out to state emphatically that Erik Ten Hag will be leaving right after the FA Cup final. Now, it was followed after a journalist from The Guardian also coming out to say something of that nature, that Erik Ten Hag will be asked to leave the club whether he wins the FA Cup or not. And the whole of social media was set ablaze. A lot of polls were conducted pre the final, with people still saying they wanted Erik Ten Hag to stay. Kwame, what do you think all of these, contributed to yesterday's game that we played?
I would want to first of all say that if INEOS did not know the monster of a club that they have acquired and how narrative can easily be driven by whoever concerning this football club, if they didn't know before, they should know now. But at Manchester United, nothing is a secret.
Yeah.
All that people need is a hint or a clue. They don't even need a full story.
Yes.
They'll make up the rest of the story.
They'll piece it. They'll
And
piece
that's
it
exactly
together.
how I see it. They'll piece it together. What I think INEOS have done is what anybody does in corporate world, in corporate business, which is to do their due diligence when it comes to the future of certain staff. What they have done, or they did, with the hope that it doesn't come out, it doesn't become this bigger story, is what any new ownership does in corporate world, which is due diligence. And I think what they did was to talk to agents of certain people who occupy the roles as managers. I don't want to mention names, unless of course you want us to go into names, the likes of McKenna and then the likes of Pochettino and
Thomas Frank.
Who else has been
Thomas
mentioned?
Frank.
De Zerbi,
Thomas Frank.
Thomas Tuchel and co.
Yeah.
But it's not yes, Thomas Frank from Brentford. It's not. I don't think it's directly from these people, but representatives of these people who happen to share information because these people have links with agents and other agents and other newspapers, other journalists, and the information leaked, but the timing of it was just absolutely awful. One may say INEOS may have been, their hands may have been forced by the fact that there could be a domino effect when it comes to if, I'm using the word if, they had to change the manager. You must be prepared for every scenario, every contingency plan. People must know that it's not just a one-way street. Yes, Erik has said he would love to continue in the job, but then if, for instance, certain conditions aren't met, he would gladly walk away, as he has said that he doesn't mind if things aren't working between him and the owners. He walks away and goes somewhere else to continue to win more trophies.
Yeah.
So the club must do its due diligence and be ready for any eventuality, which may also involve a change of manager. It doesn't necessarily mean that Erik Ten Hag would not be the manager of this football club, as has been said, communicated by the club, that they have not said they are taking out Erik Ten Hag from office. They have not told the manager anything. They have not told anybody else anything. It is people they communicated with concerning the availability of certain managers who have unfortunately leaked this information. The timing, like I said, terrible, awful, unfair to the coach, to the players, and to everybody else. I wouldn't put everything at the doorsteps of INEOS, but what I would say is if they didn't know what their actions or implications could mean beforehand when it comes to Manchester United, this is the biggest lesson they can take from this. Going into a very complicated transfer window, You cannot trust anybody. You should be mindful of who you are talking to and how you deal with people, agents, whoever. You should be clever, sharp, smart in all your dealings. Yeah. This is not OJC Nice.
Yeah.
This is not Lausanne in Switzerland. This is Manchester United. Set up to be a graveyard, not just for managers, players, but for people in the high epsilons, top office, owners. Our previous owners have failed. They shouldn't start off on a bad note and piss us all off. Saying this, I'm not saying Erik Ten Hag should stay, although I do want him to stay. But what I'm saying is, I do not want to put so much credence into the news that broke before that epic final. Yeah. That Erik Ten Hag is literally on his way out. I mean, for agents, for journalists, if you are talking to other people, they would simply come to a conclusion that if you are talking to other people, then it must mean that you want change. Yeah. But that's not what it means in corporate world, which is completely false. So for those people who have bought completely into that narrative, you must try and open your mind to the fact that what is happening is normal in every sense. It's just that with Manchester United, everything is blown completely out of proportion. But on the implications before the game, it was just terrible. It was just terrible. I mean, the questions before the football match, Erik Ten Hag's interviews before the football game, those questions just before a very important final, they're asking you, is this your last game? Are you going to be out of the door? I think what it may have done, back to your question, your original question, it's added a bit more fuel if there was no fuel already in the belly of the manager and that of the players. The reason why I say that of the players inclusive is that all throughout the season, we have been thinking that at a point in time, these players would give in on the manager. But it's clear that the manager had never ever lost the dressing room at any point. It gives credence to his excuses to be legitimate in a sense that if things were that bad, things were that horrible, I would have lost these players a long time ago. But that's not what happened. These players we've seen before throw other managers under the bus, give up, give in at various points. It doesn't matter which game. They could easily have rolled over for City to just trample over us, and that would have just been the end of the manager per se. But that's not what happened. That's not what we saw when the referee blew that whistle. That is not what we saw. We saw a tactical change for starters. There was all these mongerings concerning the lineup, and Casemiro is in and Casemiro is out, and we've given them false lineup to Manchester City and blah blah blah. I think it's all got to do with the late injury to Casemiro. Just that one simple change. Besides that, the rest of the lineup was quite predictable. What we've seen about Erik is he's not really going to hide things from you, because we saw the lineup, I think, a couple of games before we actually saw the final, and fans just were like, you know what, this is exactly how we're going to play. Rasmus Højlund is not going to start the football game. It's going to be like how we did play against City in that second game at the Etihad. Except for the fact that when it did come to the second half and we needed legs to come on to give us an extra boost, we had a lot more options now in this game compared to that City game. That was the major difference. And the coach did actually point out that today, in this particular game, what will make the difference is I have a bench. I can influence the game. I can change things when things are going bad. I'll take us back to that City game at the Etihad where we lost 3-1. We're up 1-0 for most parts of the game. We're seemingly in control. When I say control, people think control is you having the ball. You don't necessarily have to have the ball to have control, as we did see yesterday. We control the game without actually having football. And that's exactly how the other City game, the other game in the league went, except for the fact that our back line was made up of Johnny Evans and I think Varane, Lindelof at left back, and Diogo Dalot at right back. This time around, he had Lisandro Martinez back with Varane. He had a full-back, Dalot, playing at left back, and another real full-back playing at right back. Ideally, it should be Shaw at left back, but that's as good as our strongest back four, and that back four has been absent throughout the entire season. It makes you wonder, what could have been if we had sort of a strong defense for most parts of the season? I want to point out the fact that we were a bit more defensive, and that may have helped. That how come Erik Ten Hag did not deploy these tactics earlier to be able to get results? Earlier on, Casemiro was playing at centre back with Johnny Evans. Just imagine Casemiro in yesterday's game with Johnny Evans and playing the same tactics. Do you really believe in your heart of hearts that things would have worked the way that it worked yesterday with Varane and Lisandro Martinez playing in the heart of defense? If you believe that, then I don't know. You just want to believe what you want to believe.
That's it.
But the truth of the matter is the return of certain personnel right on time yesterday was absolutely crucial, absolutely timely. What it does prove is what some of us have been saying for a very, very long time. The depth in quality of our squad is simply not good enough to compete at the highest level. The reason I say this is United has become a cup team for the past decade because we've not built good enough teams to consistently compete at the very highest level. That's how come league-wise we keep going up and down. But you will find us going to numerous cup finals. If I'm not mistaken, we've been to about 7 cup finals in the past 11 years. For any other club in the world, that would look great. But for Manchester United, that is not a measure of progress. The measure of progress is almost always our league form and how we're able to compete, and we've not been able to do so. Yet we'll bargain some trophies here and there because we have literally become a cup team. And in cup competitions, like we've seen, it's not necessarily about form. It's about matchups, it's about home ties, it's about what happens on the day, as we saw yesterday. We have been terrible, we have been horrible. Manchester City have not lost in 30 odd games, but on the day, it's a one-off. It's a cup game. Anything can happen in a one-off game. And that's exactly how things turned out in our favor yesterday. You put all these things together and you say to yourself, great, this is the outcome of the season, yeah? It was a terrible league season. End of the day, we're able to shut out our way all the way to an FA Cup. It doesn't make the season a successful one. But like we said that right at the beginning of this pod, at the end of the day, it still comes down to trophies.
Yeah.
United should still win trophies regardless. One issue people have had with Erik Ten Hag is our playing style. The first season, we saw some good football. Second season, terrible football. But he was asked to develop a playing style. He was asked to bring through youth, and he was asked to win. He's a winner.
Yeah.
He's won trophies back to back. The first manager to do so, post Sir Alex Ferguson, to win trophies in back-to-back seasons. He's brought through youth, epitomized by the very two young players, star players he's actually brought into the team, Garnacho and Meno, who actually won that football game for him. The only problem has been the playing style, of which people have had huge concerns over. Why doesn't he adapt to this? Why doesn't he play like that? We can go in and out concerning the reasons as to why. We can go round and round and round and round. Some speak for the manager's excuses. Some say he should be doing this regardless. At the end of the day, it's all a wrap now. We are all sitting down waiting to see what next, whether this manager is the one who is going to continue, whether he's not going to continue. In the game itself, Bruno Fernandes, incredible.
Absolutely.
Bruno Fernandes was playing like Kaka. He was playing like a prime record star. He was unbelievable. Unstoppable. I have not seen him this good in that false nine role in a long time. You see, usually Bruno Fernandes would give you an 8, 7 over 10 performance where he's given a lot of balls away and then he gives you that moment of brilliance to decide a football game or whatnot. This was a complete masterclass. Kevin De Bruyne was taken off after 60 minutes. I've not seen any top player in a final taken off after 60 minutes like that before.
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes was bossing it and showing him how it's done. It was incredible how he led that team, that pass to Kobe Menu for that second goal, that no-look pass. Jesus Christ. How did he even pull that?
That was amazing. I mean, he didn't even take a look. He didn't even look. He just knew where he was. Knew that a player would be there. So let me just quickly release the ball to the player. And Menu was right there on spot to connect. I mean, that was an amazing goal by all standards. The build-up was excellent, starting from Rashford, switching play to Garnacho. Garnacho moves with the ball, locates Bruno Fernandes with a cutback. Bruno then also sees. So it was about how we were able to get ourselves out of possession. When we were out of possession, how we won the ball and how we handled the ball. I mean, it's always crucial. It's always been one thing. You know, when you get players, and these are the same players, some of them, how they can compose themselves, not the back line, but that midfield and the attack. It hadn't changed, but this time around, you could see that they knew what it meant, the occasion meant. What they have lacked all season is that consistency to remain the same. And the players admit it themselves. I remember listening to Diego Dalot during the BBC interview where he mentioned that he wished that they could have had the same consistency. He admits that they've not had the same consistency over the period, and it's something that they wish and they pray that they get in the course of next season and all of that. But you could see them, how they handled the ball. There were moments where we could interchange about 5 or 6 passes, drawing rings around the Manchester City players to progress the ball. And we're so purposeful with the ball, extremely purposeful. And that's one difference. And that tells you see, that's the point I always make. Erik Ten Hag is never a bad coach. I mean, he has his flaws. He has things that people can accuse him of, right? And that's fair. But for anyone to say that he's a bad coach, that I would always disagree. I mean, like he stated, he's
it's actually a dumb. It's actually, I'm gonna say it. It's a dumb take. It's a very dumb take.
I mean,
and
I
to
don't
call
get
him a bad coach.
I don't
very
get
dumb. It's daft.
anyone that says that he's a bad coach, because look at his body of work. And just this afternoon, someone drew my attention on social media that over the last 5 years, he's won trophies consecutively. He's never gone a season in the last 5 years without winning a trophy. He's come to United and won back-to-back trophies in our supposed worst season ever in the Premier League history. I mean, that is the kind of coach that we have on our hands. It's as if I'm making a case for him, right? I mean, INEOS can decide to make whatever decision they make. They are the ones doing the review.
Kwame, can I ask you a question?
Go on, Kwame. Yeah, go on, Kwame.
Oh, it's buffering a bit. Kwame, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go on, Kwame. I can hear you. Ask your question.
Yeah, it's a very simple question. Not just to you. Do you truly believe in your heart of hearts that this squad is good enough to compete for Premier League titles?
Absolutely no. You should know this.
It's as simple as this. If you do not know this, if you do not understand this, when you say this, people go like, "Oh, but he spent 400 million pounds." It doesn't stop there.
Yeah.
You should always try to continue to keep getting better. If you get some signings wrong, it doesn't stop there. It doesn't mean because the manager spent 400 million pounds, all of a sudden that squad is good enough. The fact that we are overpaying for certain players doesn't make the squad good enough. That's the flaw in the football club.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
But we have to look at our squad and ask ourselves, is this squad as good as Manchester City's squad? Is this squad as good as Liverpool's, even as Arsenal's? If you do believe in your heart of hearts that this squad is good enough, with just one striker, with all the problems that we face, with the 35-year-old Johnny Evans playing the minutes that he's playing, it's good enough to compete.
Yeah.
With Casemiro going in and out of the team, not finding any form of fitness. Amrabat being a bust, basically. Let's just be honest. He put in a shift in the final, but he's not of the standard that is required.
Yeah.
If you believe in all this, that this squad is good enough to compete, then you have a very good case against Erik Ten Hag. But if you know in your heart of hearts that this squad isn't good enough to compete and that we need to get better, despite how much we've spent, we need to spend more, then you must as well just, bite on something we all had and go like, I need to sit tight. We need to get better. We need to improve our squad. And then we take it from there. Sit tight, tighten your seatbelt because it's not going to get any easier. If we do get better in the market is always the marker. When we saw the market last summer, we all knew we're fucked. We all knew we're in trouble. The market is always the market. And I'd say United is a reactionary team. We are not proactive. We've not been proactive. We always react to bad seasons. What's going to happen next season? I can promise you, everybody knows it. We're going to spend heavy in the market. We're going to get back into the Champions League. But the question is, what happens right after that?
A new regime, so probably something changes.
We are hoping. It is the hope. But the new regime has already gotten off to a slightly untrustworthy start with the way they are dealing with certain things. They really need to get things spot on from the very off. They've given us 3 years to sort things out. They shouldn't get off to a rough, rocky, bad start. Even if they want to change the manager, they should go about it properly. They should do their due diligence properly. Look at the alternatives. Are they better than Erik Ten Hag? That's my own issue.
I want us to end. I want us to end on that note. So that's the question I wanted to ask you. So a review is being done according to reports from David Ornstein and Laurie Whitwell of The Athletic, and as reported by other media houses, other than the Guardian guy who came to tell us that he's been sacked. So a review is being done, and a decision is expected in the course of this week or probably next week. What's your expectation? We have just about, from my timer, we have about 5 minutes to go. Just sum it up.
Let's be smart about it.
Yes.
One of our biggest fears when INEOS was taken over was how British this club was going to be.
Yeah.
We joked about it. I
Mhm.
remember we did a pod with Daniel Crancy. We joked about it. We just laughed over it. Said, "Oh, hold up, we're going to get a Brit in, and all of a sudden he's going to bring a British this and a British that, and probably half of our squad is going to be British." And we laughed. But what's happening? Wilcox is British. Dan Ashworth is British. Omar Berada isn't British, but then we get it. He's worked in City for a very long time. They got him from England.
Yeah.
Now they seem to favor, according to the tabloids and the newspapers, a British manager in McKenna who just came out from the championship.
Mm.
Others are sounding out the likes of Gareth Southgate.
And Graham Potter.
For goodness me, Southgate, Graham Potter. These managers have nothing on Erik Ten Hag. Absolutely nothing. Let not anyone deceive himself to think, oh, they are brilliant coaches or they are going to be just good coaches compared to Erik Ten Hag. The reason why certain clubs are looking to go down this road of just having plain coaches is that the very, very good managers would never ever cede complete, absolute control to owners and sporting directors. It's not going to be possible. They talk like the likes of Poch are those kind of managers. De Zerbi, Grill Winks, and it's not that kind of manager anymore. The more you become better as a manager, the more you tend to demand for more. In demanding for more, it's not just power, but it's like you know exactly what you want.
Yeah.
And you ask for what you want.
Mm-hmm.
But with the upcoming managers like Company and McKenna and then the rest, they need to take steps. So they're going to control to anybody. They're going to bow down to whatever that you want.
Yeah.
And just to get a job.
Mm.
Manchester United is too big for any of these managers. Even Erik Ten Hag, who came from Ajax side, won 3 or 4 league titles, came from a historic side that had won more Champions Leagues than our club, has gone through the mill when it comes to dealing with so many things ever since he took the job. Imagine any of these managers. If it's not the British press that is going to protect them, then they are in for a hell of a time. Yeah. They have to protect them like how they protected Lampard at Chelsea. By the end of the day, he was found out. Yeah. None of these guys are good enough to replace Erik Ten Hag. I may buy into a Thomas Tuchel because he has the pedigree to coach Manchester United. One may even argue he's a better manager, pedigree-wise, than Erik Ten Hag. Yes. But Tuchel also comes with his own baggage, which is almost always a problem. And from the way INEOS is looking at getting just a coach, Tuchel isn't going to come and just be a coach. Yeah. So INEOS themselves have to and keep him, in my opinion, as the safer bet than to go for the likes of a McKenna or a Gareth Southgate or a Graham Potter. They can't get off to such a terrible note. So that's just how I see it.
Yeah. Anyway, Kwame, thanks a lot. Thanks very much. It's been an absolute great episode here where we've looked at the FA Cup final, how we've gone about it, and everything in between. We've discussed the build-up to the FA Cup final. We've discussed, almost everything that you think about. The news that has come about Erik Ten Hag being replaced or not, a review that is being conducted. We've analyzed all of these issues for you here. We just want to tell you a big thank you, or we just want to say a big thank you to you for always sticking with us throughout the season. The season has officially ended now for Manchester United. Everything is over, but this channel is not over yet. We've got a lot more to come.
Oh no, we are just getting started.
We are just getting started. So the transfer window, the Euros, the Copa America, all of these things will be covered here. We're giving you our insight, our analysis, the stats, the figures, everything here.
Kwame, before you go, we started this group in August of last year.
Yes.
And in our first season covering this football club of ours, our beloved football club, we've ended with a trophy. People just need to hear that. We ended with a trophy, the FA Cup.
Yes.
I hope and pray that we have even more successful years going forward.
All right, that's amazing. Thank you very much. Remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell. Please like, the video, like for us. It's very, very important. Please always hit the like button, the subscribe button, and please leave a comment for us. We'll be happy to hear you and your opinions on everything that we've discussed. We'll see you tomorrow with another edition. It might be a podcast, it might be United Today, but we'll be back tomorrow. Wishing you all the very best.
I give people a hint what is going to happen.
No worry. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great time.